What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. The fighter purses have been revealed for the championship fight Saturday night between WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder going up against Tyson Fury. 12-round title fight. Both fighters, Wilder and Fury, will make $5 million guaranteed minimum for the fight, and they both will make $25 million plus pay-per-view profits. So you're looking at both fighters could potentially make around $30 million a piece if the pay-per-view fight is a success. Now, the two co-main event fighters that's going to headline the co-main event leading up to the main event, Gerald Washington and Charles Martin, persons have been revealed too. Gerald Washington will be making $275,000, and Charles Martin will be making $250,000, which is kind of surprising because Charles Martin had the IBF World Heavyweight Championship title probably around 3 years ago. Around 3 years ago, he held that title before he lost to Anthony Joshua. And I think it was a second round knockout up in the UK. So he did have a title. He was a champion. You know, Gerald Washington never been a champion, so that's kind of surprising. He's actually making $25,000 more than Charles Martin. But that's what the two co-main event fighters will be making. But as far as the main event goes, that's a good payday. You know, Wilder's last two fights, he made $20 million for the King Kong Ortiz fight. And that was a pay-per-view fight, and he made $20 million versus Dominique Brazil, and that fight was actually on free TV, Showtime cable. So he made $20 million his last two fights. So for him to make $25 million, pretty much is guaranteed he's going to make, plus pay-per-view profits. You know, he's looking to probably make at least $30 million, him and Tyson Fury. It's a 50-50 split right down the middle. You've got two fighters coming from competing networks. Tyson Fury coming from the ESPN. Well, not come from ESPN, but Tyson Fury, promoted by Top Rank and ESPN. Deontay Wilder is with the PBC and Fox. So two big-time TV networks coming together to make a huge super fight going down Saturday night. Both fighters going to be well compensated, and that's just the landscape of the heavyweight division. When you got heavyweights fighting, they command bigger purses. You know, you look at probably the last big welterweight fight was Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. That was a unification in a belt, as Sean Porter was the WBC champion at 147 pounds, and Errol Spence was the IBF 147-pound champion. And both of those guys received $2 million a piece, guaranteed minimum plus pay-per-view sales. So both of those fighters probably walked home when it was all said and done, probably around close to $10 million a piece. You look at that compared to what Wilder and Fury is getting, they're making $25 million pretty much guaranteed. You know, that's going to be in the plus pay-per-view profits. You know, they're looking to triple what Sean Porter and Errol Spence made in their pay-per-view fight. So that just lets you know that heavyweight boxing, you know, the heavyweights, that's what moves the needle 9 times out of 10 in the sport of boxing. You know, you've had great fighters in the past that made pretty good paydays, like Sugar Ray Leonard. He made a lot of money. He actually made more money in his heyday than Larry Holmes was making per fight. But those are very rare occasions, man. When you've got a big time heavyweight marquee fighter, he's gonna more times than not be the highest earner in his sports. Mike Tyson was in his heyday. Muhammad Ali was in his heyday. And that's just the way it went. I'm pretty much sure Joe Louis was making the most money in his heyday. Probably got a lot of it took from him, but he was the highest earner in his heyday. The same with Sonny Liston in his heyday. Most of those fights like that generated the fan support. The TV ratings were much higher to watch heavyweights than they were for the lower weights. So that's what we're looking at, man. $25 million a piece for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, plus pay-per-view profits. And like I said, that should shoot both of their purses up to around $30 million a piece, man. So good money, good dollars. And if they do if this fight lives up to the billing, and they do and they have a very exciting fight, and they do a trilogy, you probably looking at both fighters making more than what they're going to make in the rematch. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires, man. But that's just a little bit something that I saw on the internet. Dan Raphael, ESPN.com, released those numbers, and it was just kind of interesting to see what those guys were making. There was a lot of speculation about how much they're making, how much each fighter's getting for this fight. They like to compare each fighter's payday, especially the heavyweights. They like to compare what Fury making, what Wilder making compared to what Anthony Joshua making. A lot of those UK fans, they mesmerized. They really caught up on who making what and who making what. Well, Joshua making 10 times what Wilder makes. Joshua's making 10 times what Fury makes. Well, now as you see, is these two guys coming together, getting at least $25 million for this fight. They're in the same ballpark as what Anthony Joshua is making each fight. Anthony Joshua is making in his fights now. So it's very, very comparable to each guy's payday. And the winner of this fight will be the #1 heavyweight. And when they come to the table, when they come to the table, when and if they come to the table and negotiate with Anthony Joshua and his team, it's going to be a 50-50 split. It's not going to be no more 70-30 that Anthony Joshua was saying about a couple of weeks ago that for him versus the winner of Fury and Wilder, he should get 70 and the winner should get 30. It ain't going to be none of that. It's going to be 50-50 down the middle, just like it is in this fight here with Fury and Wilder. And arguably, the winner of this fight could ask for a higher piece of the pie than Joshua, because the winner of this fight is going to be the recognized #1 heavyweight in the division. Don't care nothing about no belts. You lost to the Michelin man, Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua got knocked out, got embarrassed, got quit. And you came back and you implemented the Vladimir Klitschko jab and grab style, which didn't win you any brownie points to none of the hardcore and casual fans that follow boxing. It was good enough to get your belts back because Ruiz came in way out of shape. And you was able to get your belts back, but that was not a devastating performance, man. That was not a devastating vintage performance by Anthony Joshua. By no means was that. So he's gonna have to get in the ring with the winner of this fight sooner rather than later. Hopefully it'll happen, in the next year. I would assume probably somewhere summertime of 2021 is probably the earliest we see the winner of this fight Saturday night versus Joshua. If Joshua keeps winning, and the winner of this fight, they probably gonna have a fight, a trilogy, and then they got to satisfy their mandatory with Dylan White. And by that time, Joshua should have his mandatories out the way with Kubrat Pulev and the winner of Alexander Usyk and Derek Chisora fighting that fight at the end of the year. He gets through that fight, then the winner should be set up to match up sometime in the summer of 2021 at the earliest. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires, man. But that's the purses for Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, and Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Leave your comments in my comment section if you think these purses are a little bit too much for this fight. For each fight, they think they're paying them too much for this fight, and they're gonna need the pay-per-view to, do 1 million sales or 2 million sales just for them to break even, considering the money that they're gonna be dishing out to each fighter. You think this is, this pretty much on point with what both fighters deserve, man. Just leave your comments in the comment section. Even comment on the co-main event. Gerald Washington and Charles Martin. Charles Martin was the IBF heavyweight champion. He's making less than Gerald Washington. Gerald Washington's getting $270,000. He never held a major belt in the heavyweight division. And Charles Martin has actually held a heavyweight, like I said, held a major heavyweight title in the division, the IBF champion, just 3 years ago, and he's actually making less than Gerald Washington. Comment on that if you think that sounds about right, or you think that Charles Martin should be making more than Gerald Washington. Leave your comments in the comment section. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.